put on your seatbelt. Let's go.
All right, turn up the music.
There's a killer on the loose. Look out, he's right behind you. He won't give me the ass. I'm scared, but I'm fighting back. We are the scream queens, running through the night. We are the scream queens, gonna put up a fight, make everything alright.
Welcome to Scream Queens Horror Road Trip Podcast. Hey, final girl, Justine.
Hey, Soul Survivor, Mr. Josh.
Well, we are currently on those loud highways of Texas, heading down I-35 for a fun adventure today.
Yeah, we are going to the Dallas Zoo for some incredible, spectacular animal moments and a ton of Christmas lights fun.
Yeah, they have some kind of Christmas display event in the evening, and we're going to go. We're going to see some animals, see some Christmas lights, and along the way we're going to cover 1984's Gremlins.
Yes, we thought it would be a perfect holiday, especially Christmas because it takes place during Christmas, for this month.
So get all snuggled in and get ready.
Get all snuggled in, warm up some hot cocoa.
But whatever you do, don't feed your mogwai after midnight.
No, you don't know the rules?
You don't know the rules?
You don't know the rules of having mogwai? Well, we're going to tell you those rules and talk everything about Gremlins.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite Christmas movies. I love a good like Christmas spook. A little Christmas spooky. Love how easily the horror genre fits into Christmas time. Something about, a lot of things happening at night, the lights, just, a lot of times the snow. There's nothing like blood on snow.
Blood on snow? Are you having your period or something? What? Or have you murdered someone with an icicle?
Maybe both.
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion in this movie about foreign-made objects, and
yeah, there's one guy that's not fond of them.
No, foreign-made at all. Maybe foreign-made overseas, or maybe foreign-made from out of this world. We don't know.
He actually gets very angry about it, but yeah, we'll talk about him.
He's got some hurt feels. The Gremlins are cute-ish.
Well, the mogwai are cute.
Yeah.
I don't know about when they turn to Gremlins. They're funny.
Yeah, they are funny. They're silly and
maybe a little endearing, but I'm not saying cute.
They cause a lot of chaos. They act like a bunch of toddlers, just, throwing their Legos everywhere and watching as everyone steps on them.
And shitting their pants.
Shitting their pants?
Shitting their pants.
Is that all you think a toddler does?
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess go ahead. Let's open it. Let's get into who's starring in this movie, Mr. Josh.
Well, there's Mrs. Phoebe Cates.
Yeah, gorgeous Phoebe Cates.
Love her. Fresh off of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, as is Judge Reinhold, who shows up. He was supposed to have a much bigger role, but a lot of his stuff got cut.
It's a little lacking there, yeah, too, because it's like he gets introduced as maybe this villain.
Yeah, he was supposed to be kind of like a bully that ended up teaming up with them to help,
Yeah.
But apparently the first cut of the movie was like 2 hours and a half or something, so they had to cut a bunch, and, his stuff got scrapped.
It's a little sad, but yeah.
R.I.P.
Instead,
Reinhold.
we get a couple of other villain-esque kind of characters. Mrs. Deagle.
She's a straight up cunt. I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh. We haven't even really started talking about the movie.
Well, I almost said bitch, but I feel like that's less PC today than the C word.
Oh.
Like
Do you feel that way?
I feel that way. I feel like people are more willing to accept like cunty or
cunty vibes?
Yeah, than they are
Cunty
like,
queen
she's a
vibes.
bitch.
Okay, let's stop saying that word. Just because yeah. Anyways, yes, it's directed by Joe Dante, produced by Spielberg.
Yeah, this is coming off of The Howling. He'd done his segment in the Twilight Zone movie. Hadn't made Small Soldiers yet.
Oh, and that is such a goodie.
Yeah, that's a Kirsten Dunst classic.
But Chris Columbus wrote the screenplay for this. It went through a few revisions, but the essence of it is...
Yeah, there was a time when it was going to be very violent, like people's heads getting cut off, like the mom was supposed to die and get her head cut off.
Instead, she kicked some ass.
Yeah, so there was going to be like more gruesome deaths of the humans.
And then also, we have Zach Galligan. He's going to be... we have a lot of exciting opportunities coming up for our Frightmare visit that's going to come in 2024.
It's going to be very Gremlins heavy. Joe Dante's going to be there. Zach, I just call him Zach.
Zach, because you are on a first name basis with him and Joe.
Me and Joe.
You guys are going to have a little
Joe and Zach.
Me, Joe, and Zach. But yeah, we have a lot of opportunities.
They like to call us the Brat Pack, you know.
Oh, you wish. But we'll have photo opportunities and autograph opportunities with Joe Dante, with Zach Galligan. Who knows? Who knows who else?
Who knows? We'll get to that when we get to that.
We'll get to that when we get to that. Who are you?
Something has to do with something.
Something has to do with something, and now we'll get to that when we get to that. Should we get to that? Should we get into
that.
Should we get into the movie? All right, we're getting through this little pocket of traffic.
Well, we start with a very film noir moment of voiceover. We're seeing like this Chinatown alley on a dark, dreary evening.
Snow is falling. It's Christmas time, and we're getting a narration from Rand Peltzer.
Hi, I'm Rand Peltzer, and this is the story of the Gremlins. That's like his cadence.
Yeah, and what's funny is he only narrates the opening and then the closing. There's never again another moment. I almost forget that it does have a narration.
We're hearing the beginning and end of the story.
Yes, we have to get an introduction and then we have to get a conclusion. An outduction. But yes, he is from Kingston Falls, and it's definitely a town that is experiencing a bit of hardship, a lot of job loss, and Mr. Peltzer, he is an inventor, and maybe is kind of down on his luck a little bit.
Traveling the world, or
locally.
At least the East Coast, trying to sell his wares, his inventions. He makes the
bathroom buddy and the kitchen companion, and they are just basically like plastic Swiss Army knives on steroids.
But he has like a funny little catchphrase where he's like, I'm Rick
I make the illogical logical.
Yeah, that's what it is. I make the illogical logical.
And it's kind of like, no, it's not illogical to want to have all of these toiletry items close to you.
It's just a stretch.
But it's, so, yes, he's an inventor, and he is in one of these little alleyways in Chinatown in New York looking for a Christmas present.
For his son.
Yeah, or just, maybe trying to pass off one of his inventions, sell one of his inventions at a trading store.
He tells us he's looking for a gift for his son, and he gets taken
But
down.
he's also pushing off his invention.
Yeah, he does, but he needs that gift for his son.
Yeah. So he happens in on a store.
Yeah, he gets drug in by like this
little
old
boy.
man's grandchild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
He's like, come check out my grandpa's shop.
So he does, and it's kind of trinkets and wares.
Lit by candles. It's like down in the basement.
And he keeps hearing kind of in the distance this like, but it seems just like, what do they say on the Ghost Hunters? A disembodied, It's like kind of a disembodied cooing sound.
His name's Rand, right?
Yeah, Rand Peltzer.
Rand Peltzer's like, what is that? What's that sound?
And the little boy and his grandfather are trying to deter him from maybe, drawing his attention away from it.
But his attention has been drawn.
Wow, that was illogical.
Adding a T to the end drawn.
And so he walks over and looks, and there's a cooing sound coming from this box, and maybe some rustling. And ooh, you did a good little mogwai. And he opens up the box, and inside, it takes a moment for us to get to see who's inside. We don't actually see.
Yeah, for a while, or until he takes him home. But he's like, "What's he doing?" He says he's singing. She speaks Mogwai. She's been practicing on Duolingo.
And fluent in Mogwai, it's almost a dead language, but because of Duolingo, yo hablo español y Mogwai.
Well, speaking of other languages, the word gremlin, or I'm sorry, Mogwai, is Mandarin for like devil, demon, or
And
gremlin.
Yes.
So
Perfect little.
That's so cool.
So here's the thing.
He steals it, basically.
Yeah, he tries to buy it outright, and the grandfather is like, "No, it's not for sale. No, you're not ready. No." And then he just goes ahead and kind of takes it with the boy's blessing, so to speak.
Yeah,
but
the little boy helps him.
kind of like the little boy sees that like his family also maybe needs some money, and
But the little boy, before he sends him on his way, says there's 3 rules about the Mogwai, and you have to follow them. They don't like the light. You cannot, whatever happens, feed them after midnight. And you can't get them wet.
no, which is the absolute opposite of what you should do with me.
Cute little Mogwai's gonna get, it's gonna be stank at some point soon, though. Can't bathe him.
I sometimes need to be fed after midnight.
Yeah.
Someone better be getting. No, I'm kidding. And bright light. I mean, if I've been asleep for a while, you don't need to just be turning on the lights, okay? Dim them and allow me time. Anyways.
That's right.
That's right. Some gotta do with something, and
You
what
better
was,
get me wet after midnight.
You better feed me, turn
Get
down
me-
them lights, and get me wet.
wet.
We are little Mogwais. Okay, well, we meet Billy, and he can't get his car started, and it is, like, where they live, it's obviously in the north, like, cold area, like,
It's up in that north cold area.
It's in the north cold area. Well, I'm just saying, like, his Beetle, his Volkswagen, and is, like, covered thick with snow, and he's also got, like, the cutest little dog ever with him.
Aww.
And they're trying to get his little car started, and they can't. He meets his little neighbor who comes over.
It's because it's foreign.
Yeah, Mr. Foreign Futterman.
Foreign.
Foreign Futterman.
He does not like foreign-made cars or electronics.
Not at all. He's very distrustful of anything stuff that's foreign made, like cheap and low quality. And so he's telling him that while he's trying to get his car started. Billy's trying to get his car started. And needless to say, Billy's like, all right, we're walking to work. So we find out that Billy has a job at the bank, and he takes his dog
his
as
dog's
well.
got like a little spot under his feet. It's so cute.
And he's got like to just, he's wanting to take care of him, and there's an obvious reason for it, but we haven't learned what it is, like why he wants to have his dog by him at all times. But I promise we're gonna figure it out.
This evil Dingle
Yeah.
is threatened to kill him.
So Miss Dingle shows up at the bank, and we already can tell who she is because we have this quick little introduction to her. She's about to walk into the bank, and she's kind of like a Scrooge in a way.
Yeah, someone's needing an extension on their rent. She's like, me and my husband lost our jobs, but we just got new jobs, but it's going to be like 2 more weeks till we really have the money. And Miss Dingle doesn't give a fuck. She's like, well, I'm not in the charity business.
Guess you're asking Santa for it,
Guess you know what to ask Santa Claus for Christmas. And the funniest part is the kids, like, after, like, Mom, we're hungry. And she's like, me too, kids.
It's so sad. And, like, you got Miss Dingle who's going in there to cash her checks and to berate Billy, because we will find out that one of her snowmen
Her Bavarian snowman.
Her Bavarian snowman was knocked over by none other than Billy's puppy.
And Billy's very sweet about it. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, what do I owe you? And she's like, your dog. You can give me your dog.
Yeah, I love how it's not really tit for tat. Like, I broke something, let me pay for it.
She's like, I'm going to take him and have him euthanized, basically.
Yeah, because I'm going to take him to a kill shelter and they'll kill him quickly, whereas if I get him, I want to kill him slowly. I might even put him in like the wash bin, and then there's like a guy behind her that's also waiting to cash his check, and he's like, yeah, that's how you do it. Like, there's some crazy animal brutality going on in oh man, what's the town called? I've already forgotten it. Kingston Falls.
Yeah, let's say something Falls. And
Kingston
it was,
Falls.
by the way, shot on the Universal lot. It's the same backdrop or town from Back to the Future.
Hell yeah.
So's Billy's mom, too, by the way. She's in Back to the Future as Lorraine or Leah Thompson's mom.
And then she's also, years later, going to be in Scream as a mom.
Yep, she's Tatum's mom in Scream. It's like, Sydney, phone's for you.
I don't think so.
Yeah. How's she doing? How's she holding up?
Oh my goodness. Okay, anyways. But we do love this mother. She plays a fierce mother.
Oh, she's cool. We like her.
So while he's at work, Miss Dingle gets really pissed and pissy and tries to basically just explain how she's going to brutally murder his dog. And then Billy stops by. Oh, well, okay, here's the thing, is that we do see that Phoebe Cates works at the bank.
Yeah, and they're kind of being a little flirty, and she's like, don't forget to dot your I's and cross your T's.
And by that, she meant, like, tweak my nipples
and stick a finger in my cooter.
and 2 fingers. Let's be real here. Like, so anyways, we obviously see there's a little budding romance happening, and then he goes to the bar, and then she's there. And she's also, like, picking up shifts at the bar to help out Dottie. It's Dottie's bar. Dottie.
Or Dottie or Dory?
Or Dory. Dottie? Dory? Is Dory her daddy?
Or is it Dooney's?
No, Dory's her daddy.
I think it's Dory's bar.
But also, while we're there at the bar, we meet, what's his bud?
Judge Reinhold.
Yes, and he is like, oh, I would have fired you right away. You're lucky I'm not your boss. I'm only the junior vice president. When I'm the vice president, then I'm going to pull my pee-pee out, and then by the time I'm 25, I'm going to shove my pee-pee in the president, and then by the time I'm 30, I'm going to be a millionaire.
Yeah, that's what he said. Exact quote. Verbatim.
Well, I only say the exact quotes.
And then he's like, give me a Martina Martina.
Martina McBride.
Maritalova.
She gets a little Martina Maritalova. Yeah, he orders
Give my martini shake and not stir.
martini.
But he doesn't say shake and not stir. He says shake it, not stir it. Which apparently was a flub, and he kept getting that line wrong. Like, he didn't know
The whole James Bond,
yeah.
which we all know James Bond actually orders his martini incorrectly. It's supposed to be stirred.
Yeah, he wants a frothy martini.
No,
not me.
I don't. My gin nor my vodka want that. And hell no, my vermouth does not want to be shaken up. Or at least I like still water. You know, I like it to be real dirty. I love olives, but I don't need it all shaken up and fizzy fuzzy.
Don't you shake it.
It's got to look
shake
classy.
me.
Don't you shake me. You don't shake me. Okay, well, so he ends up heading home, and because he's had kind of a rough day, and he gets there, and his mom's like, hey son, Miss Dingleberry,
She called again
because, oh, here comes your
she
dad.
still wants to kill your dog.
And then dad walks in, and we get the, hey son, I've got your present for you, but it can't wait till Christmas, so open it now.
Because it's kind of alive, so we got to get it out of this box.
And out of the box, we all see, for the first time, the cutest little furry baby with... Okay, so a Mogwai to me looks like a furry Yoda.
Yes, he does look like kind of like a furry Yoda.
And
but just as cute.
Yeah, it's
him
like
and baby Yoda. It's a fight to the finish to see who's cutest.
Exactly. It's like Grogu and then Mogwai
In this house, we call him Baby Yoda. I'm just kidding.
in this car. In this traveling vehicle, we call him Baby Yoga, as you.
Well, he does do pretty good yoga.
And Dad goes through the rules, so we get this, number 1, don't get him wet. Number 2, no bright lights. And number 3, don't you dare feed him after midnight.
And the common question is like, well, it's always after midnight. But apparently, according to the official, unofficial answer to that is it restarts at daybreak.
Oh, okay, all right.
Is apparently like when you start feeding a mogwai again.
Like when the sun rises,
and
then, yeah.
It resets.
All right, gotcha. So Billy, though, the next day, we meet Pete, and Pete is played by
Corey Feldman.
Yes, and he is
Tommy
like his
Jarvis.
second, yeah, because we've got him as Tommy Jarvis, but now he is Pete, and then he'll be in the Goonies. Is that right? Is that how it happens?
Yes, I believe Goonies. I do believe came after this because I think Chris Columbus was asked to write Goonies after this movie.
Perfecto. Okay, but so Corey, such a wonderful kid actor. And it's his second movie, and he's got he does have like comedic timing when he lays on the bed and he's like, yeah, they're cool. Like kind of like he's trying to play it cool. He does a really great job. I wish he was utilized a little more.
Yeah, and then he's even impressed. He's like, oh, cute. Like he likes the little mogwai. But a lot of people mention like, why is this like 23-year-old hanging out with a 13-year-old?
But I think it's just because he's the neighbor boy.
Yeah, he's like the neighbor kid that probably bugs him.
And also, he might have babysat him. We could read into like, oh, okay, well, he probably babysat him, or
he's like an older brother figure to the kid.
And that's kind of nice,
small town, too. It seems like one of those towns, like especially from the movies, where everybody knows each other.
Yeah.
And everybody's business. And,
even though I noticed the age difference, it kind of like never really bothered me.
Well, apparently it was because the Zach, what's his character's name? I can't.
Billy and
Billy,
Pete.
yeah. Apparently Billy was written younger originally, but they had already cast Corey Feldman, and then they aged up the characters. So,
yeah, it's like because they've got them like working in banks and bars.
Yeah, so they're definitely over 21.
So we're just gonna go with that. Pete and Billy are neighbors, and maybe Billy was his excellent role model that he's gotten to look up to all these years. But Pete,
and Billy's kind of nerdy, so it's like it makes sense he's hanging out with the 13-year-old next door that's into like comic books and all those things. Because it's even said at one point that he's drawing a comic book.
Yes. Pete, though, and we also see all of those drawings because Pete accidentally knocks over basically a glass that holds paintbrushes and has water in it.
Yes.
And it lands over on Gizmo.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. They named him Gizmo.
And they name him Gizmo, and then it falls over on him, and we immediately see what happens when a mogwai gets wet.
It almost looks like a hairy turd pops out of his back.
Multiple hairy turds, in fact, 5.
Yeah, five of them.
5 hairy turds for... Oh, sorry. I was going to do the 12 mogwais of Christmas.
Oh,
but...
that'd be so fun.
And
to listen to that.
We get this, like, kind of reveal of the mogwais, and they all look similar to Gizmo, but there's one that really stands out and gets named immediately as Stripe.
Yeah, because he has a big stripe on his head. Almost like a little mohawk.
Yes, it does look like a mohawk. Exactly. And Pete wants to take a creature home, but with good reason. Billy's like, I don't know. I think really what we need to do
Take him to the science teacher.
Yes. And that, to me, makes sense. We see that trope in other movies.
It's very, you can tell Stranger Things kind of took from that. Like, in this, was it the first season where they're constantly going to, the science teacher for help?
But even, what is it? movie that we went down here to Texas and had the barbecue, and it was the aliens that were in the rain in a Texas ball field.
Oh, The Faculty.
The Faculty, yeah. I was like, why can't I? But they also take their, Jimmy Stewart is their, right?
Jimmy Stewart.
Not Jimmy Stewart. Jim Stewart. Like, what's his name?
Josh Hartnett?
No, the teacher, the science teacher. He's
maybe it is Mr. Stewart.
John Stewart.
Oh, John Stewart.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
John
Okay.
Stewart is
I know what
the
you're talking
science
about now.
teacher
Yes.
in the faculty,
Yes.
and the kids take the slug thing to
Yes.
him.
Faux
So
show.
it's definitely a trope that we see in
Agree.
in our little sci-fi movies a lot. And somehow these science teachers have all of this technology.
In knowledge.
At
I mean, not
their
that they would,
fingertips.
but I'm just saying, like, they
Well,
always know the very specific thing.
Yeah. And he even has like a blood kit, like, because he takes blood from one of the Mogwai
Yeah.
and runs a panel on
He's like,
him.
I run a whole lab here.
It's crazy. And he's like eating a sandwich, but then takes 2 bites of a sandwich and is like, all right, I'm ready to go. And, it's like,
Lays it right next to the Mogwai. Ugh.
and yeah, the Mogwai is in this little like cage. I mean, all like yum yum. Oh, we're jumping ahead though. Anyways, so
Okay.
yeah, we jumped way ahead. Billy takes the Mogwai to the science teacher the next day and shows him what happens when the Mogwai gets wet. So the science teacher does in turn have his own Mogwai
Yeah.
to do his tests on.
And that's the one that steals his sandwich that evening.
Yes. So Mrs. Deagle, Billy discovers that there's like new personalities with every one of these like Mogwais, and so he knows that the ringleader is Stripe, and he separates like Gizmo from everybody else, and so Gizmo sleeps in bed, whereas all the other Mogwais, they're
Like
kind
a
of like,
cage.
but not, because they
Yeah.
get out at night and they dangle up poor
Oh.
Barney the dog.
Yeah, that's actually a very traumatic scene. He wakes up in the middle of the night, Billy, and he hears his dog whimpering outside. He opens the door, and the dog's wrapped up, almost like choked, and like
Yeah,
his limbs are all tied up with the Christmas lights, and he's just hanging there.
and
First time I saw it, I remember thinking he was dead or like
yeah,
had been hung. Yeah.
and Billy kind of like starts just making accusations,
So
like,
it had been Miss Deagle.
yeah, and Mom's like, no, we can't even blame Miss Deagle. There wasn't even footprints, and
Leading up to the house, and there's no way she could have gotten in to get him. So it's coming from inside the house.
And so Rand tells Dad tells Billy, like, all right, I'm about to leave to go on another business trip. I'll take the dog with me. And so now we don't have the dog in play, and Billy's kind of like free to like roam around, and he'll need to in this movie.
Yeah.
He's gonna be jumping all around town.
It's a shame because that dog was cute.
Later on, Billy stops by the bar just to see Kate again, and he gets to witness how she handles a drunk, because Mr. Futterman is there and he doesn't want to go home.
He's like, one more, just one more. Then he's like, blows it to that.
Oh my, yeah, it's
kind
kind of like, yeah. He's like, I don't want to go. Let me stay here. But eventually, he first tries to get in his car, and she's like, no, I think you need to walk home.
He's
And
very responsible.
yeah, you don't need to be getting behind the wheel of a car, sir.
So he walks home, right?
Yes, he walks home, and Billy and but this is the time where he tells. So Mr. Futterman tells Billy and Kate like why he doesn't like foreign-made anything, and he says that they put little gremlins in their
inside.
wares and send them over here, and then they go on the fritz easily. So he kind of has like a reason why he thinks that they're like cheaply made and they fall apart, blah blah blah. But he does describe them as like they put little green men in, or little green gremlins in the
In the cars.
in the cars and the TVs and the toaster ovens, and ships them over here, and then they break down. So we get a little bit more information, but we also get a little explanation as to what gremlins might be. We get that titular line.
Tit.
Tit?
Well, it's more just like the title being said. The titular line's usually
Well,
more like
okay.
a sentence or.
Oh, okay. Well, we get the title said. And next we get them walking Kate and Billy home. Well, he walks her home.
She talks about how she hates Christmas, the most depressing time of the year, how the suicide rate is sky high. She makes a weird comparison about, like, what does she say? She's like, when other people are opening their gifts, some people are opening their wrists.
Yes.
It's like, damn, girl.
Yeah, she got dark and deep really fast, but she says she doesn't celebrate Christmas, and that's just that.
We're going to find out later the real reason for her discontent with Christmas.
And he doesn't want to end it on a poor note, so you can also tell that they're kind of like lingering, a little flirty, and he asks her out, she accepts, and then off he goes. He's just like over the moon. He gets back, and he's like, all right, everyone, let's get all tucked in, but the Mogwai are like going insane.
They're like, we're hungry, and he thinks it's still before midnight.
Yeah, he looks over, and we get a shot of the clock, and it shows that there's still, like 25 minutes or so before midnight. So he hops down, grabs a full plate of drumstick chicken, as you do. Your mom leaves a big, huge plate of cooked chicken exposed in the refrigerator, and you can just go in there, and it's to feed an army.
Maybe in the 80s they hadn't figured it out that your food dries out.
Maybe, I don't know.
I think they did though. Tupperware was already around.
So he grabs it, takes it up, and the Mogwai just eat it all up. Not Gizmo. Gizmo's like, no, I'm not hungry. And I'm sure the boards have just gone insane with why Gizmo acts the way that he does versus the other Mogwai. Why it seems that Gizmo wants to stay a Mogwai and not.
He's pure at heart. He knows I think deep down that if he does, he's going to be corrupted and maybe not loved, and be in the same kind of situation he is now. Because right now he is like the apple of everybody's eye.
Yeah.
Even he was well taken care of at the shop. So it's like maybe he just knows it's not the right path to take.
It's not the right journey for him.
Yeah.
But Stripe and the others, they are full speed ahead. They have planned this out. They coaxed their way into chicken after midnight because we will find out
they chewed the clock.
Those little bitches, yes, they did exactly that. We also get another scene where the Mogwai that's at the science lab is eating, and
he steals the sandwich.
And the next morning we get Billy, and he's like, Mom, get up here. And we have these like sacks all over the floor. They
Big
look
old green sack.
kind of like Alien. It
reminds me of like the eggs from Alien. But these are a little slimier and goopier.
Yeah, and they're completely sealed up.
Yeah.
And they are encased in, they have like slime on them. And we don't really know what's going on inside of it. Like, is the Mogwai just sleeping? Or is the Mogwai transforming into something? We have no idea. So we go to the science lab, and now the science teacher, he has all the answers. He's trying to take wire cutters to get his out of the cage because it's encased its egg like within the cage. And he explains, all right, it's in its pupal phase, and it's going to go through metamorphosis, and it'll come out looking completely different. And
it's crazy,
that's what he says.
That doesn't usually happen to mammals, right? Metamorphosis.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of like, butterflies, caterpillars turn into butterflies. Tadpoles, right?
Tadpoles.
Don't they do a metamorphosis?
Those aren't mammals.
I know. I'm just trying to name off things that I know go through metamorphosis.
Things that change, they have little flippy tails.
Is it that they have to have an egg or something? Some kind of cocoon encasement?
I would have to go back to 6th grade science class.
Well, go. Okay. Go right now.
Okay.
And get
Next
back
exit.
here. So Rand is calling from the Inventors Conference that he is visiting, an expo of sorts, and he calls to just chat with the wife, but he sounds down. Like, he sounds down, and he expresses that the inventors that are here are a little bit more experienced than what he thought, and I think he's trying to kind of like break the news that he won't be coming home with any new sales.
Yeah.
And again, they're all kind of depending on their son to support them, so to speak.
He's working hard
It's
at the
really
bank.
sad. Like, they just are in a time where jobs are hard to find, and maybe like what brought him joy once is no longer.
He used to love being an inventor.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
not something that is going to be able to provide for his family.
Crotch rocket going by.
Oh my goodness, it's a purple little motorcycle. And okay, so we get next scene is the hatching. So the science teacher is now teaching class, but not really. There's just like a video that's playing, and it's the last day before Christmas break, and then the science teacher looks over and the egg is steaming.
I
And
love a good steaming egg. I like them hard boiled. I like them scrambled, but steaming is one of my favorites.
okay. And we get a little, I guess, a battle scene between the science teacher.
Yeah, he's trying to coax him out with the Snickers.
But
He's
that's
like, you're not yourself until you've had a Snickers.
he's just a little too early for that
Yeah.
commercial. And yeah, the science teacher bites it, basically.
Yeah, he gets a needle in the butt.
A needle in the butt,
But
and a needle
we
in
don't
his
know-
nut, and
we-
a needle in the
Oh,
butt.
gosh. We're never told, like, what was in the needle. What killed him? What needle to the butt killed him?
And at home, the other eggs have hatched.
Oh, and
And-
poor mama. She's over there decorating her cookies. And she's decorating them. The decoration, when I watched this earlier, I was like, that is like the color scheme of the 80s. Like this brown, this kind of like not very bright yellow.
Yeah, it's a mustard.
Yeah, kind of like a mustard yellow, brown, blue. Like the things she has, I'm like, oh, that's... Everyone thinks the 80s were neon. And
No,
it's like,
not
no,
yet.
they were brown.
They were
And-
neon in like 88.
Yeah,
it
into
started
the
getting
90s,
pretty
yeah.
around there, but no, it was.
The 80s were very brown, y'all.
And there was so much like
Hardwood paneling
charcoal
on everything.
under your eyes, and there was a lot of like new wave like punk coming over. It was a lot of blacks and browns, and
Yeah.
not yet. But then Jazzercise will come into play, and we're gonna get like Jane Fonda and all that happening.
But anyways, we digress. Mom's making gingerbread cookies.
Yes. And she turns around, and oh my gosh, there's a gremlin, and she's got to fight this gremlin in the kitchen, and it's awesome. Like this,
She is badass.
yeah, she's kicking ass and taking names because she kills multiple gremlins.
She's almost like the final girl mom in this moment. Like,
Is there such a thing?
I don't know.
A final girl mom? Is
I'm
it a
sure
final mom?
A final mom. She's a really good final mom. She like attacks. She does not let this gremlin punk on her.
No, she uses like the blender. She uses cooking spray.
She straight up knifes a couple
yeah,
of them.
she shanks some
yeah,
of them.
yeah, the nastiest though is her getting one. She sprays like this bug poison stuff on them until she gets them into the microwave.
And that's like, it's that classic explosion that you.
It's so
It's a
gross.
good payoff of the microwave. What you think would happen in a microwave to a
And they're-
living thing.
Yeah, and all their blood and guts are all, and viscera is all green and black and just goopy as hell.
She gets most of them. She's attacked, or I'm sorry, Billy's attacked at the Christmas tree. Like, so he walks in.
And the mom is being attacked by the gremlin in the tree at that point. too.
Yes, and that's actually a good scare, like a jump scare, because the gremlin is green and blends in
Yeah.
very like well with the tree, and so we get this like bah! Of the gremlin, and she'll spinning around, and then Billy's there, and
She's getting all choked.
she's getting all choked, and the fifth one, which is Stripe, he escapes out of the house, and we know what he's... Stripe is very motivated to kind of be like the god of his...
Yeah.
These are all his creations. So
He's the cult leader.
Billy runs after Stripe. He's got Gizmo, and they are following Stripe. He heads to the YMCA.
Yeah, he goes to the local Y.
But he does have a really good reason, because he wants to take a little dip.
Yep, he cannonballs into that pool. That pool bubbles and boils, and out pop a million of those little gremlins. Or, I guess they'd be Mogwai at first, and then he must have taken them right away to go get food, because they turned quickly.
And it would have been after dark, or no, it's just like darker because it's winter time. But yeah, I wonder if you do that as a gremlin, if you replicate gremlins.
Yeah, that's true too.
And if you do that as a Mogwai, you replicate Mogwais.
Mogwai, that could be true, because none of them I don't think go through that pupal phase, or if they do, they go through it really fast.
No, I think it is that, like, if you're a gremlin and you get wet, then you
You're
are
a
making gremlins.
Gotcha. That
But
makes
everybody still is avoiding bright lights.
Yeah, and one of the main reasons for that they made that a rule, I read, is because, back in the 80s with technology and stuff, they knew low lighting would look better, the special effects would look better.
True, and there's so much puppetry
You
that
wouldn't see the
strings
seams as
and
much.
yes.
So that's one reason they came up with the rule. To,
Good little
shoot
magic.
Most of it in low light. And he did a lot of that same technique for the Howling, too. Most horror movies are in low light anyways.
Yeah,
but
and to add to ambiance.
Yeah.
But yes, like you say, to just
helps with the special
add
effects.
with like that you don't see maybe the clear strings that are helping pull stuff, and you don't see the seams, as you call it. Okay, so Billy's like crazy outnumbered. There's thousands of them, and they quickly start wreaking havoc all over town. The first scene that we see where they kind of start causing these freak accidents, there's fires, is we get the Futtermans. And the Futtermans are at home. Mrs. Futterman is kind of getting crabbed at by her husband because the cable, it looks like it's... Oh, we never even made that joke about the cable at the bar with... what's his face? When he asks out Kate.
Oh, and he's like, I got cable.
Yeah, he's like, come on, it's cable.
Yeah.
But like, that's such
1984 was brand new.
Yes.
It had only been around a couple of years. It was very...
But they bring up cable a bit in this movie. And it does date it, but for me, it's nostalgic. As a child,
like,
I'm born
cable.
in 85. I'm like, oh man, cable. I remember when you've only had a certain amount of channels. So Mr. Futterman is crabbing at his wife because he thinks she's messing with the remote. And she's like, no, you've got it. Nope, actually, we get a cut up to the roof, and there are like 12 gremlins hanging onto the big cable satellite wire hookup. And they're trying to coax Mr. Futterman outside.
They do.
And we get a good payoff. He's constantly been bitching about his plow.
Well, they get in the plow. There were little gremlins in the plow.
And Mrs. Futterman and Mr. Futterman meet a terrible demise. They are impaled by the plow. We don't see that because this movie is one of the reasons why there is such a thing as PG-13. Yeah. But we don't see them die, but they die. And that's a thing in here. We don't see the deaths, but they're implied.
And then they're going to go after Miss Dangle next, right?
And I love this. I love this.
This is so funny.
Okay, so we get Billy going to the police station and trying to explain to two cops that are just really there to drink.
Yeah.
They're just sharing some spiked eggnog.
They're like, we took the Christmas shift because we thought there wouldn't be any action. We just sit here and get wasted.
And here you are coming in, telling us this bullshit story of Gizmo and Mogwai and, all these rules. Maybe you're the one that's drank the spiked eggnog and not us.
Drink the juice, Shelby.
And drink the juice, Shelby. Drink the juice. And I guess back then, your local 911, they just pick up and they get this report that the Futterman's house the Futtermans have been killed, or an accident has happened and they need help. So the police officers head out to the Futtermans, and across the street is Mrs. Daigle, and the Mogwai show up at Miss Daigle's as carolers.
Yeah, and she's pissed about that because she doesn't like any kind of joy, so she's not going to like a caroler. And then she opens it, and they're fashioned with like little head scarves and earmuffs.
And I kind of like don't care that through this movie it's just really nothing but terribly behaved gremlins placed in just little scenarios that if I imagined everyone who's like kind of like sitting around the table being like, all right, so we're gonna get the gremlins and they're gonna be set up like this.
They're almost spoofing like the worst of humanity, basically. They're a little bit more than sinister and menacing because they do commit homicide, but they are like just very mischievous and funny and over the top,
and like you said, they're just showcasing kind of the worst, the dredges of humanity.
I mean, they even have their little chorus books and stuff, and they're singing. You know, it's like
they're trying to have fun too and make light. Like here they are, they're singing little Christmas carols because they're also just heavily influenced by what they are seeing, and it's Christmas and what they are witnessing, and there's carolers going around, so they kind of imitate what they're seeing, and so they try to fa-la-la her, and then she runs into her house. She has an automated chair that takes her up the stairs from, you know, the different levels of her house, and
she gets into it trying to run away from them. She's like, I'm not ready yet.
And she's a cat lady, and all of her cats are named after different types of currency.
Yeah,
because
like
she's
peso,
greedy.
dollar bill,
and that also adds to her being like the Scrooge.
Yeah,
is that
only thinks about money.
Yes, even during the holidays, she doesn't care if there's hungry kids out there. She wants her rent.
She's like, fuck those kids.
So in a lot of ways, the Gremlins are really only getting rid of the people that poo-poo on Christmas and poo-poo on humanity. Maybe they're doing a little service, even though, yes, homicide is not justified. But they're Gremlins. They don't know any better. They just make a ruckus wherever they go, Josh. So the Gremlins continue to make a ruckus. They leave and they start just rampaging all over town. And later, there will be a
Did we mention she flies out the window?
Yeah, didn't you just say that? Okay, if not, then yeah,
we started talking about the name. Yeah.
Oh, okay. The cats, yeah.
Yeah, the cats.
So the Gremlins, they kind of mess with the contraption of her chair.
They speed it up, and you get that comical like woo 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 woo.
And she goes right out the window, and the police officers see her like soaring across the street.
Yeah, she goes all the way across the street.
And they're like, "Was that Miss Daigle?"
Yeah.
Because there she goes.
And as an audience, we love it because she's so heinous in this movie that when she gets her come up and she really gets it, and you're like, yeah, throw the lady out the window.
And now we see them wreaking havoc all over town. They're at the bar where Kate is, and they're in just the craziest little scenarios.
She's having to serve them.
Yeah, and this kind of is outlandish because I thought they couldn't have water, but yet they are just liquored up, and they have all the beer they can need. Like, some of the Gremlins are under the taps and just having beer go straight into their mouths.
I think as long as it has like hops or barley or something in it, it doesn't change.
Oh, if it's diluted with something else. Oh, it's no longer water.
Just water.
Oh,
I see. They didn't say. I guess they just said don't get it wet. So I guess they're still technically wet.
They are getting wet.
But maybe they mean just with water.
Well, libations are not. Like they're internally wetting you.
Yeah.
So they're having a lot of fun. We get kind of parlor scenes. There's games of poker being played. There's Gremlins smoking on cigarettes and cigars.
Yeah, you get this Humphrey Bogart Gremlin.
A flash dance.
Yeah.
With what are those? Not tube sock leg warmers. Gremlin wearing leg warmers and doing that classic flash dance scene where the legs are moving really quickly. And what Jessica Biel, is that who it is who's
not
doing
Jessica
the
Biel,
Jennifer
Biel.
Jennifer Biel, yeah. Guys, I'm sure at this point in our 95th episode that I don't get the names, right? I'll get the scene green, or I'll get a color, or I'll get something, but I'm not going to get it all correct. Oh, our navigación.
Yeah, you'll probably hear him talking. We're in the Dallas Metro now, so it's going to be telling me where to go. Just ignore it.
Just ignore it.
I'll pay attention to it. You don't have to.
Not for you, sirs and misses and theys and thems and everyone in between out there. Our listeners, don't pay attention to the navigation.
Don't do it.
You don't need to go anywhere. Just stay where you are. Now, the Gremlins, they're good and liquored up, and they start really, I think, pestering Kate. And so she figures out that they don't like light too much, start taking pictures of them, and then she's shining
them
bright
with
light.
the flash of the Polaroid.
And then they're kind of like pissed at her. All of a sudden, they're not having fun with her anymore. They're pissed at her, so they really start getting at her. And she escapes, and Billy shows up and shines the big headlights, and she's able to.
Oh, he shines his big headlights, all right. Oh.
Is that his balls? Does that mean that? That he shines his big headlights?
I was thinking like his ass.
nipples?
I don't know. Oh,
what
his
are
nipples.
you talking about?
Well, he shines his headlights. That's what I'm
Okay,
talking
so
about.
she walks out and shines her big headlights.
She did that in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
That's true. So she gets into the car and she meets Gizmo and sees that not all of them are the same, and don't judge a book by its cover because he's a sweet little baby.
Yeah, sweet baby.
Bright light. And they're just trying to figure out what to do. And then all of the Gremlins cut over to the movie theater, and they want to watch a movie. And Billy and Kate know that they've got to that's their chance maybe to blow the place up. The bar's already been ruined by all of the Gremlins.
It's a disaster area.
So then we get to the movie theater, and as someone who worked at a movie theater for over 8 years, it's my favorite part of the movie. I love the Snow White and the Gremlins singing to it, and them eating all the candy, and them being in the projector area and turning on the projector, and them having just a lot of fun with the film.
Yeah, they're singing the Snow White song "Hi Ho." They're eating popcorn, getting rowdy in the theater.
It's just kind of like a ball full of fun, and it reminds me of my days working in the concession stand. And
that's what I did in high school too. I worked at the movie theater.
Yeah, and we worked in a movie theater together, and then I ended up managing it and going to college, but we spent a lot of time at a movie theater. So I just, especially in this scene, I'm at home in this, even though they're, like we've said, wreaking havoc everywhere. They do it at the movie theater. But Billy and Kate cut behind the screen, and they've decided that they're going to go down to kind of like the boiler room, turn on the gas, and light it, extinguish it, blow the place up. The Gremlins kind of catch on to what they're doing, but they don't really get out in time, except for one who decides that he wants more candy, and it's Stripe. And Stripe left the
Stripe's
movie.
always causing so much problems.
And he left the movie theater, though.
Yeah.
So all of his prodigy
got blown up.
And we get a good pyrotechnics scene, which you love.
I love pyrotechnics in the movie, and we both love a good chase scene. There's that, when they're chasing Billy and Phoebe.
And you get all of them coming out
funny.
There is
Creepy.
so much good special effects, real practical special effects here, and we're getting to kind of I think probably for myself, this is my favorite special effect scene that's coming up, is when the fountain scene in the candy store where Stripe meets his end. And
yes. There's they're running around that shop, and he even at one point has a little chainsaw.
And he's throwing the extra discs from that chainsaw. He's throwing them at Billy.
Is it also the things from the dartboard?
Yes.
He's throwing those at Billy. One gets him in the arm. It looks painful.
And Gizmo, I love this too, because it is like a toy store that they're in. That Gizmo finds one of those remote control cars.
Yeah, and drives it. Yeah, it's so cute.
And
you're like, get him, Gizmo.
is this movie just horrific and everything. No, but it's gateway horror. There are a lot of moments that scare me.
It's a horror comedy, you know. It's not straight up horror.
Yeah.
It's a Christmas movie. It's spooky. It's really kind of like horror for the whole family. Like you said, gateway horror, kinder horror.
It's what Krampus today. Like we wouldn't have Krampus I would argue.
Yeah, if it wasn't for something like Gremlins
Something like
to show
this.
that it could be done.
Yes,
you know?
and to show that you can have like funny comical moments and death and it be uplifting and have
cartoonish.
Yes,
it's very
and
cartoonish.
have character arcs, and you can have all of that in a movie, and it can be out of this world to
Oh
a
my
certain
god, we
extent.
did skip the part where she talks about why she doesn't believe
Oh,
in Santa
we were
Claus.
getting there.
Okay, I
So
thought
yeah,
we had already killed Spike.
no, I was just saying like we're getting to that scene.
Okay.
But anyway, so they're trying to figure out like what they're gonna do, and we get this amazing monologue from Kate as to why the fuck she doesn't celebrate Christmas. And I don't understand why it's this moment when they are like, the town is at war. There's even on the radio someone coming over, the DJ coming over and saying the National Guard's on its way and we're gonna hose them all.
Yeah, you're like, no, you don't need to be hosing them.
Yeah, that would have just been terrible. But she decides to tell the story of why she doesn't want to celebrate Christmas and why Christmas is the absolute worst and does nothing but bring her terrible memories. Josh.
Well, it's so funny and over the top. Long story short, on Christmas Eve, when her and her mama were decorating the Christmas tree, their dad basically just disappeared. They didn't find him for 3 days. When they did, he was stuck in the chimney. He had slipped and fallen, broken his neck, and that's why she no longer believes in Santa Claus.
Guys, like, that's crazy!
She tells like a more drawn out, dramatic
Yeah.
version of the story that's really funny, really fucked up.
And you're just like, wow. And this is when you want to tell us
Yeah.
that? Like, that's
And then they go
heavy.
stripe.
Yeah. And then we, have the, like, scene where everybody is running for their lives and Gizmo's going around in his remote control car and Stripe sees his opportunity in a fountain and he tries to run for it, but Gizmo, it's a mixture. Gizmo saves the day. Also, like, Kate's cut off a lot of the power supply, and Billy has helped out.
Yeah.
And Barney, like everybody, the dad comes in, Rand's there, and he sees Stripe, and he there's the reveal where the skylight comes open, and he's just melting, and he melts into the fountain.
It's like even his bones melt. They get all gushy and stuff, and it's really, again, goopy and gross. I love
And
it.
Stripe dies, and
He's dead, girl.
he's gone, girl.
He's gone, girl.
He's gone, girl. He's dead, girl.
She died, girl.
And we all are back at the Peltzer home, and
The mom.
Gizmo is getting his
Aw.
temperature taken.
Yeah, he looks so cute.
He
And Mom's
looks-
like, I think he'll feel better with some chicken noodle soup.
But it's not to be,
No.
because there is a visitor that arrives.
Okay, Sarah, whatever will be, will be.
And the shopkeeper from the store at the beginning of the movie that Rand may or may not have, stolen or at least bought without the shopkeeper's knowledge, the Mogwai, Gizmo, he comes to retrieve Gizmo because they have not earned their right to have
No.
Gizmo. Look
Well,
what
he
they've
tells
done.
Him, he's like, yeah, you guys can't be trusted. It's too much of a responsibility for you. I'm taking him back.
You've done what man has done with like all of other nature's gifts.
Yep.
Ruined
Fucked
it.
it up.
So, taken aback, and Gizmo has this cute little moment with Billy where he speaks English to Billy, and oh, bye, Billy.
Yeah.
Oh, Billy.
Oh,
Billy. He like puts his little Mogwai
Nipple on
nipple.
the glass.
Put
Yeah.
his nipples on the glass.
Put them on the glass.
Put 'em on the
You guys
glass,
remember
put
that
'em
Sir
on the
Mix-a-Lot
glass.
song from the 90s? Put them on the glass.
Put your mug on the glass. And that's the end. We get that bum 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 bum
Yeah.
bum. Well, we get Rand doing his narration of like, all right, so if your washing machine goes on the fritz or your
radio machine, like it's all
Yeah.
these old things. Well, I guess everyone sells washing machines. But yeah,
It's-
he's like your videotape player and your cassette player.
it might be
It
a
might be
gremlin.
a gremlin. And then
And
dun, 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 dun,
There we
dun.
go. We're all,
Aw,
we're
it's
all-
so cute. I love
it's-
that movie.
and we are what 1 minute from arriving at our destination.
Yeah, we're going
so
to the zoo in Dallas, y'all. We're gonna
going
see
to the
we're gonna see little
zoo.
gremlins.
I'm gonna be a gremlin for you, and you're
That
gonna
was-
be a gremlin for me.
That was kind of our connection. Is that little animals?
Yes, little
little
gremlins.
furry things. We're gonna
And
see
we
some
really want,
exotic pets.
and it's Christmassy because also it's a Christmas movie, and so there's this Christmas stuff, these lights that are happening at the zoo, and we're just excited to go. We've never
Yeah.
had a reason to go to the Dallas Zoo, but we have heard that it's spectacular.
Beautiful, even.
So here we go.
So here we go.
We'll
We're
let you
going.
know. We'll let you know the animals we see, and
Yeah.
the lights, and the people, and the gremlins, and the mogwai nipples.
Oh,
and
we're gonna tell you all about the Mogwai nipples in a few seconds when we come back. But we're gonna go enjoy all that the Dallas Christmas Zoo experience has to offer for us.
And then we'll let you know how that is in just a couple of seconds. So
and
enjoy.
we'll give you our Knife ratings and final thoughts on the movie, favorite scenes.
And what to expect in the year 2024.
In the year 2000.
Stay tuned. Listen to Bad Athlete.
We'll be right back.
Bye.
Flowing through another daydream. Something's moving in the sea. Wake up, I just wanna go home. I may be shaking inside. I'm not the kind to run and hide. Come out, I'll take you all on my own. I've got you figured out. Tough luck, you're in my world now. I have no doubt, I have no fear. I'm gonna make you disappear. We are the scream queens, running through the night. We are the scream queens, gonna put up a fight, make everything alright.
And we're back.
Oh, wow. It was a wonderful.
Oh, wow.
beautiful-
It was wow amazing.
Yes. Well, tell them about the wow amazing time then.
Well, it was a wow amazing time, and the time was amazing and wow.
Okay, so we just saw the Dallas Zoo lights, and we got to walk in the zoo. That was like a question that we had originally was, what exactly is this that we're doing? There were some questions in the air, but we got to walk on our feet and enter the zoo. Immediately there were lights everywhere, and these huge, like, kind of inflatable, but also it looked like maybe they were held together by some kind of wiring, but these light up animals
They were all lit. We got to see some lit animals.
walked up to we got to park in the hippo parking.
Yeah, they made everything very convenient. Like the flow of traffic was really nice. There was a lot of traffic, a lot of people going. There was a Saturday night, obviously. It's Saturday. So the traffic was heavy, but it kept flowing. They directed you into different parking lots named after different animals. And yeah, it was pretty easy. You didn't even have to pay to park there. You showed your parking validation when you got up to the front with your ticket. So everything kept the traffic just going.
Yes.
You can tell they've done this before.
This might not be their first rodeo.
It was ours, but not theirs.
Clearly not theirs, which only we could be thankful for. Yeah, so those like inflatable or whatever, like there were these humongous light up displays of animals, polar bears, penguins, right when you first arrive, when you're walking up, it says Dallas Zoo.
A rhino.
There's a rhino, there was a tiger, and when we entered there, it was very dark and then like lit with these like blues and purples, these lavender colored lights, really added to the nighttime vibe.
I was getting Disney feels, just how clean the zoo was. It felt like almost like an amusement park at first when you walk in, and you know, with the music going and all the food and festivities going on. I even said to Justine, like, this is the closest we'll probably get to like feeling like we're at Disney this year.
For Christmas.
For Christmas.
Yeah, it felt like we were at Animal Kingdom. There was a huge tree, and then, you know, there's animals everywhere, so we were just kind of like, for a moment, plugging ourselves in to the Disney mindset. And
you just get to wander. There's Christmas lights everywhere. You get more of those inflatable lit animals everywhere, which were kind of my favorite part. I took a lot of pictures of them. They were so pretty. Most of the animals were sleeping. I got pictures of like sleepy otters, and we went to the herbitarium. Is that what they call it?
Herbitarium, yes. We started off in Holidays Around the World, kind of where the main entrance is, and there was a carousel that Josh beat the shit out of a kid so that he could ride on, took his ticket.
I would have, but Justine wouldn't let me get on the carousel. She was like, no, I'm a Screwjet.
No, I wanted to get to
I'm a Miss Dingle. I'm not going to let you get on the carousel.
And it was already night time. We knew we were kind of like trying to beat the timer that the animals were used to going to CPs at a certain moment.
Well, they were already
wanted to see
asleep.
the flamingos.
We did see a lot, like a flock of sleeping flamingos.
Yes, we walked through the Falala Flamingo Bridge, and it was lit with all kinds of like pinks and had like a Barbie feel to it.
I took a picture on a big pink flamingo throne.
Yes, and
I was feeling myself for a moment.
There was a good little light show that you could hop into. It went off and on every 15 minutes.
They even had a warming station where you could go in a little area. I guess it was nice and warm. We didn't need it.
We didn't need it, although it was pretty chilly. By the end of the night, like, I was getting a little trembly when we were standing at the lights waiting to walk across the street to get back to our car.
Yeah, by the time we left, it was getting a little nipply. But I would say for the most part it wasn't, especially in the herpetarium. It got warm in there.
Yes.
So I was ready for, like, the cold air when we stepped out of there.
We also went to the, like, Santa's Village area where there is usually a petting zoo. There were a couple of petting zoo animals out, but for the most part, the Mississippi.
Yeah, we saw some goats, but they wouldn't walk over to us to let us pet them.
No, they were actually kind of being bitches about the
two
whole
were
thing.
asleep, and one was just staring at us like, not right now.
Do you even know what time it is? Do you know who I am? It's kind of the vibe I got from that go. We did see some flamingos, but they too were all huddled together off, like, you know, in kind of like one little nook of their very large watering and feeding area. But they were beautiful.
They're so pretty.
Huge. You know, it's like...
They asked me to join them, but I was like, no, I can't.
Well, he couldn't. He said, I can't, because I can't.
I shan't.
And I shan't, because I can't. But it took me a moment to get Josh to start walking again, because I guess when he approached the flamingos, he went into position, and so just one leg just went up, and he became a flamingo. He put on his own little light show. It was pretty fabulous.
None of this is true.
It was true.
I like to pretend.
He does. No, all of that was true. Santa's Village, that was nice. We got to see a little naughty and nice list display, and I felt kind of like, you know, because then it was a big display that you could take a picture under, and it was a scroll that said Santa's naughty and nice list, and there were kids' names on there, or just like names, because that's not like kids' names, then you have an adult name. Well, sometimes, but you know, whatever. Names are names. And one of my niece's names was on the nice list, so I took a picture and sent it to her mom. Was like, well, you're lucky, because that little hot mess is on the nice list this year.
Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise!
We could have taken a photo with Santa, but that was like one hell of a long line.
Yeah, we're like, been there, done that.
Felt sad for Santa as he was having to deal with all them crying babies. I felt bad for them babies.
And adults. There was a mixture of everybody in line sitting on Santa's lap.
Yeah. And
some people were just horny for Santa and wanted to sit on his lap.
you were one of them. And
Well,
I had to,
but-
again, you were assuming position. You put your flamingo leg up. I was like, what is happening right now?
Justine never lets me have fun.
I never do. In fact, I find most joy in my life is depriving you of any joy and fun.
It's true. I've noticed.
On our way to the herpetarium, we got to see a dino lights kind of like display where there were like fossils and dinosaur, or like the skeleton-esque
And
of a dinosaur.
Yeah. And the herpetarium is where we saw most of the animals because, like we said, everything else was asleep.
Mhm.
But those lizards and snakes, they were putting on a show for us. We saw some huge ass cobras and pythons
Oh
and
my
boa
goodness.
constrictors and little tiny frogs and a lot of little sleepy lizards
And monitors hanging up in trees. They were fun. The snakes were actually serving a lot. Like they were engaging with people that would walk up and they would like move their heads. Others were going sleepy, but there was this viper who was really coming for me.
Yeah, he wanted to bite her,
I felt like if
shut her up.
we had that Harry Potter moment
We fell
where,
in the glass.
yeah, like I felt he would have been like,
Oh,
Get me.
you would have been dead in a second, girl.
and we got to see some wonderful works of art by a local artist who drew for a conservation effort different animals that are
Oh yeah, the endangered.
yes
And
that
they were
are
all lit
endangered.
up. They were like light.
They were lit.
They were lit.
They were lit. The artist was Russell Ronat.
And they were like
not?
backlit. Like I can't describe it. Like they were almost iridescent and then painted and there was a light behind it, almost like in a light box.
Yes.
type
Also, to
situation.
just add to the whole idea of like this light display.
Yeah.
Even the works of art had like a light display.
Lots of little gremlins. We saw lots of little gremlins.
Oh, I would
the-
argue all of those in the herpetarium.
Yeah, we're little
Little gremlins.
gremlin related.
Coming
Gremlin
for me.
adjacent.
And all those kids, those were little gremlins coming for me. And now I guess let's get back into Gremlins.
Yeah, we had a really great time. If you're in the Dallas area and you want some extra Christmas spirit and you like zoos or just wandering around seeing light displays, go hit it up. It was fun.
And I did really enjoy that all of those humongous animal light up displays, those like inflatable light things, because since so many of our mammals were asleep during the daytime, it was kind of nice to see them represented with these lights.
And they were
displayed.
even in trees. Like there was a sloth and birds hanging up from the trees. And what else? There's like a python or
Like-
a snake
yes.
hanging down. Like
And there was a frog, and
they had bands playing out there. There was food trucks. We got a cookie. I gotta say we were a little disappointed in Tiff's Treats.
yeah.
I'm gonna put you on
what?
blast, Tiff Street. We waiting in this long line for 2 cookies.
That was what I could have gotten in a Chips Ahoy bag.
Yeah, they were like little. The only good thing about them is they warmed them up, but
Yeah.
a little disappointed in that cookie. Gotta
I just
say.
thought they were going to be bigger.
Yeah, me too.
More options. We didn't have chocolate
Yeah,
chip.
they only had 2 options by the time we got up there: M&M or Snickerdoodle.
Now, Tom's Travelin' Coffee, that truck hit the spot.
They were good. We liked them.
And
Good cold brew.
good cold brew, and they had wonderful little sugar-free syrups. You know, not every place is rocking all of the sugar-free syrups, but that was nice. And yeah, we also ate at kind of a local-ish. It's a franchise, but it's like a Texas one called Hop Dottie. We'd never eaten there before, but it's a burger place. They had loaded Brussels sprout like bowls and obviously truffle Parmesan fries, because who doesn't love truffle
And
Parmesan
then we
fries?
split a boiga.
A boiga.
And it was good.
It was great.
That was downtown, so we stopped there first. Had like an early dinner.
an old person's dinner.
Yeah, it was like 4:30.
And yeah, but now we'll get back into our Gremlins vibe as we make our way home on our I-35 North. Just passing through good old Oklahoma.
Yep, and let's wrap up Gremlins, shall we?
Well, give me your favorite scenes, Josh.
My favorite scene is Mom being a badass, killing the gremlins in the kitchen. I love when she's knifing them, she's blending them up, she's microwaving them. Like, she's fierce. Like I said earlier, she could be a good final mom.
Yes, she could be and is an excellent.
She's
final
serving
mom.
mother.
She is there at the end, and she's there to support her family and her mogwai.
And I like the mom. Like, she always seems like happy-go-lucky.
Very supportive of her husband.
Of her husband and of her child. She's a good mom. She's going to fight to the death if she has to. Kill these gremlins.
She loves her Barney dog.
Mm-hmm.
And I have great respect for her.
It's just a really, like, badass moment. You know, it's probably, like, one of the goriest moments in the film. Even though it's all, like, green, fake, gooey gremlin blood, but it's still a lot of fun to watch. I love that sequence.
A microwave scene.
Yeah. It's pretty gnarly, too.
All right. Well, my favorite scene is going to be when all the gremlins are in the movie theater. I kind of like all of the little sequence of them playing, playing with the projector and making their popcorn, and then all sitting down and watching Snow White and them singing "Hi Ho," and then the explosion of the theater and them kind of catching Billy and Kate in the act and all rushing after them. It's a little suspenseful, but also just super fun, and reminds me, like I said, made me reminisce of working at a movie theater myself. So
reminisce of memories past.
Of memories, and isn't that what Christmas is all about? Yeah. So
and this is a Christmas movie. Damn it! Just because it's scary doesn't mean it's not a Christmas movie.
Oh no, we've got representation, fa la 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 la, caroling, Christmas trees.
I mean, the opening credit sequence is that amazing Darlene.
Yes, Darlene Love
song.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas,
the snow's in
Christmas,
I'm watching it fall.
Yeah, we're really good singers. And
well, and
I love that Christmas song too.
Do you think that Gizmo would have
Yeah, it's his favorite song too.
It is. Okay, well, and who doesn't love Gizmo? You know, he is
kind of like, you know, he originally was supposed to be Stripe. Like, there was no Stripe character. Gizmo was gonna turn bad.
Yeah.
But Spielberg, I think it was a producer choice at first, and they all kind of agreed that no, people are really gonna like Gizmo,
and they won't want him to go bad.
They won't want him to go bad, and he'll make good marketing. We can make a lot of Gizmo toys, and so they decided to keep him Gizmo, and I think that's the best choice because I like having Gizmo in the whole movie. It would be pretty sad if he turned and then you never see him again, and then he gets killed in the end, you know?
Yeah, and he makes such a cute little cover.
Yeah.
On, like, the VHS. And
it just goes to show, like, you know, free will. Like, he chose not to go bad. He knew the rules. He knew it was after midnight in that one scene. It was like, no, I'm not eating that chicken, Billy. Don't give me that chicken. He's side-eyeing all the other, like, little or mogwai that are eating.
It's like, you're falling into
too.
temptation.
Like, they love that chicken. They
oh,
were,
my
like,
gosh,
chowing it down.
They look like me at dinner time. And on that note, give me your knife ratings.
Oh, I'm not even being generous. I'm going to go 5. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies. It's fun. It was one of the top 4 highest grossing movies of 1984. Came out the same weekend as Ghostbusters.
Yes, it did.
Only was like $1 million shy of, you know, tying with it or beating it for #1 spot. I just think it's a great movie. It's so much fun. It knows what it is. It knows it's kind of, you know, a live-action cartoon, and it plays into that, especially with Idyllic Town. The setting always seems a little phony, but I love, like, the backlot 80s, you know, like these backlot towns where...
Yeah, where maybe you can see that it's a set.
Yeah, you know it's the Universal lot the whole time, but it's charming, and it's set, especially, like, with snow on the ground, really sets the tone for what you're
Yeah.
going to see and adds to that cartoonish element.
It's definitely a way for them to just concentrate that atmosphere.
Yes.
Like that they can put it all in one place. They're not having to go off too far. They're not all of these like, oh, we have to shoot scenes over here, and oh, we've got to go, all the way across town. We got to make it look like it fits. It just does fit because it's all shot in one location.
This little town. This little
Love it.
Kingston Falls.
Okay, well, I'm going to give it a solid 4, and I echo a lot of what you say. I really appreciate it for being such a fun kind of like kinder horror gateway into, the scaries as like a child, but also you felt safe because it wasn't too scary. But it did lean that way with it being one of those like, oh yeah, we might need to create another rating. This PG might not be.
It's a little more than a PG, but not
yeah,
quite an R.
yeah.
What should we do?
What do we? We should PG-13 it. What's next, Josh, for our podcast? It's the end of 2023. What are we gonna do for 2024?
Well, we're gonna open with kind of cult classic. We're gonna go up to Wichita, Kansas, and it's kind of fitting. We're seeing this weird art installation that you have to kind of find on the streets of Wichita, and it's like a troll like in the sewer. And we're gonna cover the 1980s cult weird movie Troll.
Just learned that because I actually have never seen this movie before, so it'll be a first watch, and then I'll have to watch it a few more times. But just looking up a little bit of the info from it, I started laughing because there's a character whose name is Harry Potter.
Yep. And we'll get into that and laugh more about it next episode. But
Oh,
you guys stay tuned. Don't forget to rate, review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever. It helps us out if you do that. So please, if you listen and you like us, go give us that 5-star, jot down a little review, and find us on all the social medias.
yes, and take care of yourselves and each other this holiday season. Happy holidays to everyone, and we will see you next year.
Bye, guys.
Bye.